You. Alright guys, big day, unboxing, review. I'm sure if you guys saw the IG, you figured out what it was. We finally got a sea sucker rack. I've been looking on Facebook for so long, and every time I find a reasonable deal, they sell instantly. And I finally was able to message this guy fast enough. So, we're locked in. So I'm gonna show you guys roughly how this works, what the setup looks like, and then my first impressions. I did put it on once and drove around the neighborhood for like 2 seconds. But I'm gonna show you guys what this looks like, how to get it on, how to get it off. I'm gonna do a quick ride at Airline before I have to leave for the weekend. So hopefully we'll make this roughly speedy. And you know how it usually goes around here, but yeah, let's get this thing on. Let's see what we can do. So it looks like everything's pretty original here, which is nice. He does have the correct size plugs I needed for my forks, which was super convenient. You can't run the stock sea sucker setup with boosted forks, so they sell those attachments, so we got those. Looks like a couple extras. He said sometimes to put this on there. I think this comes with it, maybe not, but I think it just helps them stick a little bit better. But yeah, let's get this thing on. Let's see what she can do, you heard me? Alright, there's really no great way to do this, but so far the first thing that I found that worked the best is to put this on first and then strap it to the roof. I'll show you, but there's like 3 levels to the roof of my car, and I can't really have the 2 front ones here on different levels, or else it's either too far left or too far right. I can't get it flat enough, so I have to put it like pretty centered in the middle of my car, which is difficult to hold this bike like this and like Allen key it on, because you have to get it perfectly on here. It's not that easy, especially when you're holding the bike like this. So I find for my car at least, this seems to be the easiest to put it on first, so we're gonna do that now. And then we'll get over to the car. I don't even know how much of this I'll get in frame, but... And I like to keep these on when it's not being used so they don't get messed up. I mean, it is used already, but I'd rather try and salvage as much of the life I can out of it. So obviously, you have to get this on here precisely. So it's not like I can just run-of-the-mill whip it on and have it like be aligned. That was actually not that bad. And then you just screw it like you're putting your wheel on. So that part's pretty straightforward, and you do use your same thru axle. Don't use like anything different. So I guess that's nice. So that's what it looks like. So now it's attached. And the one on the rear, I put this guy on last. This is to hold the rear wheel. I put this on last just so I know where exactly the wheel will sit. Because if I'm putting this on every time from scratch, it might be a little bit off. So I usually do this fully last. But I'm gonna bring you guys over there now. Hopefully this is a reasonable angle. So another thing, especially now, the pollen is crazy. So you're gonna wanna try and wipe your car at least a little bit. When I first tested it, I really didn't. I probably should have. But at least help it a little bit, because when you have a ton of sediment under there, it's definitely not ideal. Hopefully that's enough. So as soon as you get it relatively flat, you just pump these little pistons in, or whatever you want to call them, until the orange disappears. And you'll see the suction cup like flatten as you're doing it. I don't know how well you can see that, but like that one's in all the way. That one's in all the way. Yeah, I mean, it's moving the whole car. So she's definitely on. So we'll do the rear now. So now that I know where the rear wheel is, I can get it pretty square. You'll want to get the bike as straight as you can, just because I feel like that probably helps the aerodynamics while you're driving a little bit, hopefully. Just strap her up. Hopefully as tight as you can. There you go. Alright, we made it to the airport lookout. I'm gonna try and plant this thing on the car now so I don't lose the GoPro too. Alright, so to take this thing off, it's pretty straightforward. I'm going to do the rear first. Unstrap Velcro. That's all you do. I leave the actual suction cup on until I take these off. So there's little tabs on both ends of the mount. All you do is pinch it, and you see it disengages the piston there on all of them. You want to make sure you do the tabs on both sides, and then it should come off. Sometimes you gotta play with it a little bit because it likes to resuction sometimes. There we go. So here's a better look at it maybe. There's a tab here, here, push on it, disengage. Simple as that. So now we're just gonna put the front wheel on and we are square. I forgot I went golfing and left my golf bag in there. Rookie mistake, but we're still live in the chat. Is this thing on? Alright guys, so that'll just about wrap it up. We're heading out, leaving airline now with the bike on the roof. I will say, driving on these rocks at the entrance is slightly sketchy because everything is wobbling around. Because it's attached to basically just sheet metal, so it just wobbles like crazy on those like uneven rocks. But yeah, that just about does it, folks. There's a lot of construction. They're doing like a one-way road here at the complex they're building. Who knows how long that'll take, but... So yeah, overall first impressions, so far so good. I mean, it's definitely pretty nerve-wracking the first go at it. I mean, it attaches to the car really well, that's for sure. But as soon as you get into gear, like on the highway, like you're super nervous. It's gonna fly off and hit somebody in the head. but it seems to be doing pretty good. I mean, it is also used, so at least hopefully if you buy it new, you'll have more of a peace of mind. But for a used suction cup rack, it seems to be doing pretty well, so we'll take that. I know a few people have tested the waters. I wouldn't give out a number, but they've definitely hit the beans with the bike on top. So she definitely holds. I will say one thing I noticed right off the bat that I didn't really think about was it does leave marks because it's creating so much pressure under that suction cup that when you take it off, like, you do get rings on the roof and on the glass, because the second one where the rear wheel is on the glass. Oh, this traffic. No. Oh, for the love of the good Lord Almighty. I might never make it home. Yeah, I will say, be on the lookout for that. Just make sure you have like a rag or something to wipe it down or something. Yeah, so that's really the only thing is I noticed the marks on the roof, which can be cleaned out. I did meet a guy who uses a sea sucker actually at Airline, and he was saying that you want to make sure you wipe it off. Like if you leave your car outside and it rains and you leave those marks on there, for whatever reason, it'll like mess up the clear coat. So definitely try and be on it when wiping that off so you avoid all that garbage. I will say, to be totally frank with you, as much as like taking the front wheel off and the pedals off were like an inconvenience, it's not really much different than taking the front wheel off and picking it up and placing it on the roof as opposed to just putting it in the trunk. I mean, it's almost slightly easier of a process to put it in my trunk, to be totally frank, but you do have to take the pedals off. You do get your trunk dirty. You have to put your back seats down. So, like, I guess it's really just a personal preference. Like, the good thing about it being in my car is, one, I don't have to worry about it raining or anything happening to the bike while it's on the roof. It's in the car. I don't really have to worry about my driving as much, or, like, be cautious about, like, bumps and stuff like that because it's in the car. And if I were to go to the store or something, like, I would be super worried leaving the bike on the roof as opposed to in my car locked. So I guess it's just a personal preference. Like, if you can't fit the bike in your car, like 100% sea suckers fire. If you can fit it in the car, I guess it's really just a personal preference. Like, I will say it does look really cool being on the roof, and you will get people like staring at you. So if you like that, you're gas, but it is definitely not that much easier to put on the roof as opposed to in my car, because it would be really difficult to put the sea sucker on your roof, then put the bike on the sea sucker, because you have to line up the axle and screw the axle in still. And it's like a perfect fitment. You can't just slap it on. I strap it on first and then put the bike that's already on the sea sucker on my roof. What was that? A metal hinge just like flew off this utility truck and almost smoked me. And now he's cutting me off. Is this guy alright? But yeah, like I was saying, definitely wouldn't say it's easier to put on the roof, but if you can fit it in your trunk, I'd say maybe that's honestly a little bit easier and less worrisome. But if you can't fit your bike in your car, sea sucker's super cracked. So we'll see. Maybe for long trips, if I don't need to carry a lot, like, I may honestly just put it in my trunk. But for like airline rips, where I know like I'm probably not going to stop anywhere or do anything other than ride, like, I'll use the sea sucker. So definitely really cool. I love seeing it on the roof of the car. But yeah, that's my overall review. First reactions, you know the deal, you know how it is. We come here with the fire. We're just doing it for the people, you heard me. Gotta get the community right with the fire reviews. So yeah, that's the Sea Sucker official review, Mustang edition, nuke proof edition, roof action. If you guys have any specific questions about it, feel free to hit me up. You know where I'm at. But yeah, other than that, we're pretty squared up. So I'm gonna holler at you guys in the next video. I'm gonna mosey on home here and I'm gonna catch you, you feel me? Yoo-hoo!